Good morning, everyone. Let's get started since we've got quite a bit to cover this morning. So, Emma Brown, found in Wenton Park at around 3 o'clock this morning by a couple on their way home from a party. 31 years old, married, address was 12 Bush Road. Her sister Abby lives in London with her mum and dad. We've contacted their local police and they've got officers probably over there now informing them. We haven't got post-mortem results yet, but they were not obvious or significant injuries other than severe bruising on her wrists and ankles, which were most likely caused by something being used to tie her up. She was also drenched from head to foot, as was halfway frozen when she was found, so she was probably out there for some time before she was found.
Did it rain last night?
No, temperatures were about an average of around 0 to 1 degrees, but there was no rain. But the park is next to the river, so it's highly probable that her death was water-related. But at the present time, we haven't got too much to go on to theorise.
Was anything taken?
She was found with her car keys, purse, phone and all her jewellery, necklace, earrings and wedding ring.
Does her husband know yet?
Well, that's the other thing for this morning. He's dead too.
You're kidding!
Committed suicide in the early hours of the morning. Officers found him when they went to the house to question him. Michael Brown, 35, married twice, Evie Collins being ex-wife. They were married from 2004 until 2009. She moved to Spain shortly after they split. He and Emma got married in 2012 and were together ever since.
Bloody hell! Do you reckon they're connected, boss?
Well, it's a hell of a coincidence if they're not, but like I said earlier, we really haven't got enough to start piecing anything together.
What's the plan then, sir?
We've currently got Uniform working on the house to house to see if any of the neighbours witnessed anything, or if they could give us any information about Emma and Michael's relationship, or what they were like. I'm going to need 3 of you guys working on CCTV. Any volunteers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks guys. I want you to look out for Emma. See if you can follow her to around the general area and track her movements up until she was found. We're also on the lookout for her car, a red Toyota Yaris. Since she had her car keys on her, it's best to assume that she was in a vehicle that night. We've currently got the forensics team at both the park and the houses, so we'll see what they find. I also want some of you to look into anyone in the area with any criminal record that could relate to this, and also looking at any past cases that show any similarity to Emma's. The key factors being that the victim was tied up with a probable water-related death.
Yes, sir.
Good. Let's give this everything we've got, guys. Phelps, with me, please.
What's first on the agenda then?
We'll go and see Dr. Mitchell. I expect we'll have something from the post-mortem. It's best to know what the cause of death is before we go and try and make multiple comparisons to other cases.
Although you did just ask for them to find similar cases.
Always good to have a head start, and I honestly can't imagine any other cause of death given the circumstances.
Here we are. The little amount of water in the lungs probably suggests that she died of cardiac arrest rather than drowning. Not surprised since the water was below freezing. I'd put a time of death around 12:30 to 1 o'clock. No severe injuries on the body other than bruising on the wrists and legs, but look here, there's bruising on the arm, which resembles the shape of large fingers or hands. The killer was probably quite rough when tying her up.
A man then?
Most likely, yes. Unfortunately, the water washed away any fingerprints or DNA that could be retrieved. We've managed to retrieve some fibre, which seems to be polypropylene rope, the kind normally used by fishermen or in their swimming pool. It's specifically designed to be used in water.
So the killer must have cut her binds after she was dead. The rope obviously didn't come loose on its own if it's designed to survive water.
And surely the fibres would have got washed away by the water if the binds came loose when she was in the river. Actually, how come there were no fingerprints or anything on her when she was moved?
He must have taken precautions, wore gloves, or washed her down afterwards, something like that. What have you got to tell us about Michael Brown?
Nothing out of the ordinary, damage to the neck and windpipe, both normal injuries from hanging, but other than that, no other injuries, sir.
Well then, I suppose we're finished here then. Thank you for all your help, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
You're quiet. Everything all right?
Oh, yeah, just thinking about the case. What do you make of it?
Well, we really can't begin to name any plausible suspects this early on, especially with the lack of forensic evidence. We've also lost our best source of any recent information on this woman.
You mean her husband? Yeah. With him dead, we've also lost the opportunity to question the only plausible suspect we could possibly have at this point. I mean, a man commits suicide only a few hours, well, a few minutes really, after his wife's been murdered. And with no way of the information of her death reaching him, especially at that hour, it seems highly unlikely that he killed himself out of grief or despair.
Well, the suicide is definitely suspicious, but not for the reasons you're thinking of.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. If there was any kind of significant injuries that showed some sort of outburst of violence or anger, then it would be more plausible that the husband may have got caught in the heat of a moment and later felt guilty about what he did. But the fact that there weren't any violent injuries and the fact that she was tied up and taken to a specific place
Suggests that it was pre-planned. He would have had to work out exactly what he was going to do and how he was going to do it.
Exactly. So why would he suddenly feel so guilty and distraught about what he had done, when he obviously had no clear hesitations planning the murder and then carrying it out?
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Who knows, maybe the deaths aren't even connected, but as you said earlier, it'll be hell of a coincidence if they're not.
Well, I think if there's one thing that we know for certain, this isn't going to be any simple investigation. What was the house number again?
12, so right here.
Right. Let's find out the story behind our unfortunate couple.